as Bethany, very more encouraging and inspiring report, and so many partnerships, so many initiatives are going on. One of the things that I also want to recognize that leadership of Secretary of State Marco Rubio is that he has been a great friend of India. When actually, in fact, in today, in many bills that we were discussing, one of the things that we mentioned about the then Senator Marco Rubio had introduced related to India's defense partnership. And that bill is in the Senate, and we had discussed because that is the framework. It will solve a lot of this, technology, not only technology, export control, the defense partnership related to the issues are that, and then the whole relationship will be very smooth. We requested even many elected officials to reintroduce that both in Congress and Senate. And recently also met Ambassador Sergio Gore when myself from FIIDS and from Nassim and others from agency, we had a joint delegation in India, and very inspired by his vibrant leadership, very eager to do and solve the problems. So we're happy to have both of these leaders and great future that we are seeing that. With this, I would invite Yogi to introduce Ambassador.
Thank you so much for many of our honored guests today, and we're glad to have the representative from the State Department. FIIDS has had a long-standing relationship with the Department of State, and just key, just really focusing on the consequential nature of the U.S. partnership, which many have described as the most consequential of the 21st century. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce before you one of India's finest diplomats in the United States today. Deputy Chief of Mission serves a unique role in the Embassy of India, and as a part of that, certainly one recognizes that it's a high level of global diplomacy that happens. Her own assignments leading up to the United States, when she also served briefly as Charge d'Affaires. She's had a distinct record of having been both in China, if I'm not mistaken, in Africa as well. She's held remarkable roles in Office of the United Nations as well. But most importantly, it's probably one of the best kept secrets, is that she has been a part of the PMO's office as well. So diplomacy is the idea of being able to understand that when you speak, it's an astute understanding of the geopolitical considerations of the country, and the United States is a position which requires a tremendous amount of interactions. She's multilingual, but more so, she spends an inordinate amount of time with the community. And I think that is vital. The people-to-people is what both administrations, prior and current, have talked about, that this relationship is consequential. Madam, you have spent time in the community, you visited us on the West Coast, you've really spent quite a bit of time going around the country and getting to know the diaspora, and it is my distinct privilege and honor to bring before you our Deputy Chief of Mission from the Embassy of India, Ambassador Namgya Khampa. Please.
Thank you for that kind introduction, and thank you to the FIIDS and to Congress and Friends of India for bringing us together today, and it's great to follow up on Bethany Morrison, our beloved DAS's remarks. I must say, we're talking about the magnificent India-US partnership, and I can tell you that I think that Bethany and I are great partners and co-collaborators as well, and we are in close touch and work closely on many of the important issues that she flagged to you, and I can tell you that we really benefit from her guidance and her support in the partnership, and are lucky to have her work on India. I also want to say that it's such a pleasure to be here today and to hear about what you've been up to the whole day. I understand there are about 152 of you who have come from 25 different states to spend the day here on the Hill and to talk to members of Congress and to talk all things India and US, and it sounds like it's been a very productive day, a very positive day, and the kind of day that we can all get behind. I think that many of you are very strong advocates of the India-US partnership. The India-US partnership has been described as one of the most seminal and defining partnerships of the 21st century. I think that that description is justified, not because we are 100% aligned and agree on every issue, because we do not necessarily, as is natural, but because the strategic logic underpinning the relationship has become stronger with each passing year and has involved a wider number of stakeholders along the way. And I think that the year that has gone by and what we have managed to build together over the last year shows us the resilience of the partnership and the fact that despite differences in perspective and position on a few issues, what has held this together is the importance of the endeavor and the strength and resilience of the partnership that has been acquired over 2 decades of commitment and vision and investment in what I often describe as one of the most important strategic endeavors that India has undertaken with any country across our history. And the depth of this engagement has helped us to further advance on the bilateral agenda. The reality, I believe, is that there is a lot that brings us together and that makes us stronger together. And that is the reality, and that is the vision that continues to guide us in our work here at the embassy. Das Morrison referred to the excellent meeting that recently took place between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Donald Trump. And as you all know, they enjoy a warm friendship and a bond and a shared commitment to advancing the relationship. And their recent meeting in France just reaffirmed the strength of our bilateral ties and the ambition that continues to guide us in our work. And we were also very happy to receive Secretary of State Marco Rubio to India very recently. I believe it was his first visit to India, and we're happy that he was able to spend the 4 hectic days in India during which he had important bilateral engagements, but also participated in the 3rd meeting of the Quad Foreign Ministers in the last 1.5 years or so since this administration, the Trump administration, has taken over. I think that the conclusion of a bilateral critical minerals framework agreement during his visit attests to the kind of priority areas that we are together working on that will really shape the future of our partnership in this emerging times. And I think that the fact that there is an alignment on the big vision for this relationship will be visible to you, because many of the issues that Bethany referred to are also going to be reflected in what I touch upon in terms of some of the areas we're focusing on. Trade continues to remain a key pillar of our relationship, and we have had a spate of recent exchanges and dialogue between our trade teams, including USTR Ambassador Jameson Greer's ongoing visit to India, and it really reflects the determination on both sides to conclude the bilateral trade agreement and to enlarge the opportunities for shared economic prosperity between both sides. The interim bilateral trade framework that we agreed to in February this year sets the foundation on which both sides are quickly and expeditiously moving forward to get us to the end point on the trade deal, and we remain optimistic we'll get there soon. And the objective is not just to remove irritants, but it is to build a stronger, a more deeper and more mutually beneficial and ambitious economic partnership that expands trade, that encourages investment and creates jobs. So I think that the recent visit of Ambassador Greer will bring further traction and get us closer to the conclusion of the trade deal. And that's a space that all of you I know will be interested to watch. And we look forward to updating you on the progress with respect to the trade deal soon. The other area that we're really focused on in terms of harvesting the opportunities that arise from it is energy. Energy has emerged, I think, as one of the most promising areas of bilateral cooperation. We in India have a growing energy demand, and the United States has energy abundance, and I think that creates a natural partnership that we are committed to further deepening. Crude oil, LNG, LPG, they're all contributing significantly to India's energy security, and our partnership with the US is a key factor in that. And they also support jobs and investments and economic growth, and we're happy to take this cooperation further. In this context, civil nuclear cooperation is also a significant opportunity for both sides to seize, and the passage of India's landmark Shanti legislation creates new possibilities for commercial collaboration and frankly brings us closer to realizing the commercial promise of the historic civil nuclear understanding that we had reached decades ago. As India, sort of marches towards its goal of attaining nuclear power capacity of 100 gigawatts, I think it opens up opportunities also for American technology, expertise and investment to look at India and to grow in India, and we invite our friends from America to take the opportunity and stand ready to facilitate those exchanges. Third is technology. Technology really is an area that wherein the future of this partnership lies. And we do have a delegation coming in from tomorrow morning, led by Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, to participate in the PAC Silica meetings and to discuss bilaterally, as well as in the context of PAC Silica, the opportunities for stakeholders to come together and for businesses to develop joint initiatives, projects and plans to take forward our goals and our cooperation under these areas: artificial intelligence, semiconductors, advanced computing, quantum communications and technologies, and other emerging technologies provide us a key area to fortify our strategic partnership, and they are already recognized and embedded in bilateral frameworks like the Trust. India joined the PAC Silica in February, and we've already had multiple rounds of conversations. And the idea eventually is to get companies on both sides and the relevant stakeholders on both sides to come together and discuss concrete ideas, and for the government to step in to facilitate that process and to figure out how we can support that. As we recognize that there is a concentration and overdependence in the supply chain on certain nodes, and how do we diversify that? And there is a shared recognition between both governments that the pathway to diversification lies through stronger cooperation between India and the United States, and we stand committed to realizing joint initiatives to attain that progress. The fourth area that I just want to flag, and Das Morrison spoke to it, is defense and security cooperation. I think this is an area that has really grown substantially over the past few decades. Uninterrupted deepening of defense and security linkages, and today that spans many areas, including trade, military exercises, maritime security, critical technologies, intelligence exchanges, and counterterrorism cooperation. We did conclude a 10-year blueprint for what defense cooperation should look like through an agreement in October last year, and we are already making headway on that. And it really provides us a basis to further deepen cooperation and engagement and interoperability across the entire spectrum of defense and security engagement. It also includes a commitment to a stable, secure, and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. And we are engaged on the Indo-Pacific Indo-Pacific region and the issues around the Indo-Pacific region with the United States bilaterally, as well as in the context of frameworks like the Quad. And as I just mentioned, we had a very productive meeting of the Quad foreign ministers during Secretary Rubio's visit to India, and we are already, in fact, we were just today forenoon discussing with the State Department follow up on those meetings and how we can accelerate progress under it. And I also want to echo what Das Morrison said, which is that ultimately I think the strength of this partnership rests not just on governments and what the two governments are doing, but on our people. As democracies, dialogue is important, and a day like this is very important to exchange perspectives and to discuss the opportunities, the challenges, as Mr. Khan was just laying out for us. And we believe in India that people are the ultimate custodians of this partnership, and the 5 million plus Indian Americans have really played a key role in transforming our relationship between India and the US into a genuine people-led societal partnership. And I want to reaffirm that we deeply appreciate the contribution of the Indian American diaspora in making this partnership between India and the United States stronger, and in continuing to work on it on a regular basis. I also want to recognize your contributions across business, technology, medicine, academia, entrepreneurship, public service, and in innovation in enriching both our countries. And we look forward to seeing you grow and thrive and prosper. And as a government, we're committed to making sure that that when we chart a way forward for the bilateral partnership between India and the United States, the diaspora community in the United States and our people at a broader level remain critical stakeholders in that process. Your voices matter, your perspective matters, and I can only tell you that as governments, we listen closely and we watch and we reflect on those perspectives and incorporate them in our work. And I think Das Morrison will agree with me that that is important to us as we shape our bilateral agenda. So I just want to say that this is something that we deeply support, and we look forward to remaining engaged with the diaspora. And thank you for your presence here in numbers today. I also want to, before closing, really appreciate the bipartisan support across successive administrations and Congresses that has helped sustain momentum and build confidence in the India-US comprehensive global strategic partnership. I think many of the major achievements in our partnership bear the imprint of congressional leadership and support, and we continue to count on congressional leadership and support as we take this relationship to newer heights. We look forward to not only preserving the gains we have made over the last few decades, but to build on them to match the ambition that has been set by Prime Minister Modi and President Trump for this partnership. And we look forward to friends in Congress, in industry, academia, and the Indian American community to remain active stakeholders in this shared and valued enterprise. And I want to thank you for inviting us to share our perspectives, and to wish you all the best and congratulate you for this wonderful day that you spent on the Hill. Thank you so much.